Hola!
Hello. Kasia and Kat once again.
Hi.
Here in the direct aftermath of 24 Season 7, Episode 5.
Which went very quickly.
Very quickly. Well, we've been used to the last two viewing nights of, double headers. Back-to-back double headers.
Hours of sweetness. But I have to say, this one didn't disappoint either. It was really, really full, I felt. It went really fast.
Yeah, it did.
The last half, especially.
Yeah.
Actually, the first half, I was really surprised when we had our little clock. And it said there was a whole half hour left. And I was like, yeah, it just keeps going.
Well, I think the first half always seems to go slower than the second half, because then you get stuck in and then all of a sudden everything's like...
Yeah. So do we go from really obvious to less?
Well, I kind of want to go like ass backwards and basically start off with the question. Renee, silent clock.
Which I think we sort of feel like that's a red herring.
Yeah, we do feel like it's a red herring because basically, first of all, they're not going to kill Renee at this point.
No. No, well, she's too strong a character, number one. She's in the middle of something. She's in the middle of a story right now. And that moment of quietness, of realization on her face, love it. Yeah. I can see herself stealing herself while she's getting buried. That was grisly. Very grisly.
Yeah, that got Kat and I on a big conversation about, the most gruesome ways to die.
Would you like to die that way?
Yeah.
What's your favorite way? Not a good way. No, and we were talking about Taylor dying. About his whole thing on the floor.
Oh, yeah, but I want to go back to Renee for a second.
Yeah, sorry, we won't go there.
I just wanted to say that I think the actress just did an incredible job.
I think so, too. There wasn't a lot of over anything or under anything. It was all really honest, and it made me feel again, and I said this to Cash during our viewing, the way I felt very first season when Jack was taking Nina out.
Yeah,
it was sickening. Yeah. It was sickening. You didn't know what the heck was what was gonna go down, what he was gonna pull out of his butt. But and her response to it was so genuine, and it was one of those gut moments.
I thought Annie did an incredible job.
Yeah.
She didn't have a lot of dialogue in this episode. She had her couple of little rants against Jack, and but for the most part, it was all just in her facial expressions.
Yeah.
Yep,
just sitting there reacting to her thoughts and her feelings, and then going a little forward from there, or backwards if you get, I guess. The little Tony smile in the van.
So what do you think the little Tony smile meant?
Number one, I feel a bit like Tony's been in the trenches with this guy for 3 years. He's been undercover. He knows how things are going to go down, I think. And Jack's all panicked. He's trying to figure shit out. He cares about Renee, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's cool. He's used to the darkness. And he gets Jack. And I think that smile was like, I know what's happening here. And Jack is kind of in Tony's house right now, right? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jack's on Tony's turf, and so I think Tony was already more in control of the situation than Jack may have been emotionally.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that smile came from, and I just loved it because there was nothing that was. He wasn't reacting to crisis. He was totally cool and in control, and watching this almost with a bit of amusement. I thought, because. They're totally on the same page, the two of them. They both know how to solve these crises, you know?
So, classic Jack Bauer this episode. We need to gas this guy out. Well, let's check under the sink and see what we can find. Fucking totally MacGyver.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. And,
actually, I thought it was a nice choice how, in the end, it wasn't... Because I figured, they're gonna, do this whole thing where the husband can't stand to see the wife die, and he's gonna relent at the last minute, but they actually decided to have her go for the door and, not be willing to die, right? And I thought that was a strong choice.
I thought it was great because it sort of harkened back to Palmer's resolve and the kind of dedication that we saw from those characters in the beginning of the season where... we're seeing that absolute to the death kind of belief in a cause from characters other than Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see that. To bring that into the story, to maybe connect the White House to that, to connect the international affairs to that kind of resolve, and have it be a good guy that's resolved that way, was great. It was riveting, and it lent a whole lot more power to those scenes, especially when his aide was going to be shot, and the two of them are both completely on the same page and ready to go down.
Yeah.
You know, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The Saved by the Bell bit was almost extraneous at that point. I felt like they'd already made their point. They'd made their impact. It wouldn't have mattered if he'd have died or not.
Yeah. Okay.
At
sure.
that point,
yeah.
I was satisfied by that. I kind of wanted to see him go down. That I'm horrible that way. Oh my god.
You're just in a morbid frame of mind tonight.
I am in a morbid frame of mind. I do know why, but anyway.
So what else? I mean, well, obviously, like, we've talked about everything but Jack and Tony, so we might as well jump into Jack and Tony.
We can talk about Jack and Tony. I want to get to the FBI at some point.
Okay, well, why don't we do the FBI first, and then we can finish off with Jack and Tony.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Actually, just quickly to interject, let's talk about the Henry Taylor shit first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Gretch is bad. I knew it all along, but
yeah.
he's still a creepy bastard.
He is. He's always been a creepy little bastard, and
yeah,
there were moments where I thought, maybe not. Maybe he's really okay.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no. He's such a beautiful choice for a sleazy character, too.
Totally, because he looks just like an angel.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Creepy little angel face.
yeah.
Angel face bastard.
That's what started our discussion about the worst way to die. I mean, that bit about being paralyzed on the floor and just looking up at your attacker with drool hanging out of your mouth and your eyeballs kind of...
rough.
Just that total weakness, that complete vulnerability in the horror, and he didn't even realize what was going on until that very, very end. Can't even fight.
I don't think. Do you think Taylor's gonna die?
No, I don't think he's gonna die.
I don't think he's gonna die.
No, because he has to bring that to the president. Somehow it has to get to the president, and the president can't have her husband cack out in hour 5.
No,
because
I think that would be doing a huge disservice to the character of the president.
It would give her nothing to react to other than grief, which is kind of dull.
Yeah, and extreme stress, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think her relationship with her husband is really important for the development of the character in the season because it presents another side to the character.
Yeah,
you know?
So, I mean, Samantha and Taylor are going to be together on the same couch. There's going to be a whole lot of shock. I don't want to start prophesying the next bunch of seasons, but, episodes, sorry. But yeah, there's a whole lot more that's going to happen there. It's going to get really gruesome and messy and cool. Mm-hmm, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to next week. I really wish we had 2 episodes per week.
2 per week?
Maybe that's a lot of work.
Well, I think I could handle 2 per week, but 4 in 1 week
4 was too much.
Was really intense.
That was really too much.
You know, especially since I'm still just trying to get everything completely smoothed out, you know, and the process happening and stuff. But,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Gretch is a creepy bastard, and...
Super creepy. And then, okay, so... Yeah, that pretty much clinches it there. The writing there was a little awkward. It was a little too telltale with Taylor walking around saying, you know, and he was already in conflict resolution denouement mode. The whole, you know, in an action movie at the end, the whole last half hour is them talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And sitting in the back of a truck with a blanket around them and chit-chatting.
Yeah.
He kind of felt like he was already at that point, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, yeah, things are going to go down, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're relieving tension now. But generally the whole disgustingness of the situation was quite fun to watch.
And we definitely think that this little Gretch creepy angel face bastard is a sociopath.
Yes, he's a sociopath, and I know sociopaths well.
No, but did you notice how basically, like, his expression and his tone of voice didn't change whatsoever?
No.
Between when he was being nice agent and when he was being evil agent?
Yeah.
Totally creepy.
Deadpan. Handsome, smooth, in control, and cold.
Very cold, yeah. Nothing in there at all.
So moving from there to
The
the
FBI.
FBI stuff.
FBI was really fun tonight.
Really fun.
I thought Larry Moss was in fine form.
He really was, and I actually warmed to him this episode. I wasn't really liking him a whole lot before that.
Well, I thought he was an interesting character that could have the potential to go somewhere, but tonight he started going somewhere.
Well, he started to have some strength, some resolve. That idiot lawyer dude was really bringing out the best in him, I felt. And
I thought it was so funny, too, how, you know, in the first episode, like, when Renee brings Jack into the office and Moss is, you know, giving Jack a hard time and making accusations.
Yeah.
And, you know, and now it's like this whole situation is going on where Renee's been accused of the same behavior and then she's missing and in jeopardy. And, you know, then you can see his position start to blur a little bit there.
Yeah.
You know, when it gets personal, well, you know, that's when... you know, shit starts to go down, right? Like,
yeah.
And so I think, you know...
I'm interested to see how they're going to contrast this relationship and the care that he feels for Renee versus the kind of thing we saw happening at CTU between all the characters there, between Jack and Terry, between Tony and Michelle. All the relationships there wound up...
You mean Jack and Terry or Jack and Nina?
Jack and Terry, I felt.
Okay.
Yeah, like these romantic relationships that have happened centrally, and how people on the inside in the office are reacting to those in peril outside of the office. They've sort of, you know, gone a certain way in the past, and how are they going to play this one? Is it going to be different? Are there going to be... What kinds of new choices and dilemmas are going to happen with Renee and Moss? It's going to be interesting to watch. It's not a clear-cut romance, obviously.
No, but I'd like to know a little bit more about the history between those two.
Because I think,
it definitely seems like they've got some history together.
They've established something. Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's simply a clear-cut case of boss has a crush on subordinate, you know, on beautiful subordinate protege type thing.
No,
like I definitely think there's more to it. They have some kind of backstory there.
Maybe they're exes.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, you know, either they're like ex-spouses or ex-relationships, something like that. Or maybe, you know, maybe they had an affair. Like, but I mean, I definitely thought that's kind of what Janice was getting at when she was talking to Sean, right? Speaking of affairs, Sean Hillinger is a very bad boy.
He really is. You could totally see that happening, too. I don't know. I could, yeah.
See, I didn't at all, but you obviously picked up on something there.
I don't know. Yeah, it was like their proximity always was a little bit tense. He was getting too annoyed at her getting in his face, and I think that's a symptom of somebody that's close getting too close. He's getting paranoid that people would find out if he responded to her too kindly.
Yes.
So yeah, that was an interesting little thing. And I'm wondering what that's going to be adding as well to the...
Yeah,
to the
I mean, I definitely hope that it doesn't devolve into this kind of like soap opera interpersonal relationships
thing.
But at the same time, you have to find that very fine balance between what's enough interpersonal character stuff and what's too much, right?
Because remember, we were always complaining that eventually... our seasons were going the way of no interpersonal dynamics, not having any stakes, not caring any at all. It kind of was a little bit soap opera-ish at first, but done very well so that you were really invested in those storylines and those emotional realities that they were facing. And then devoid of that, there's nothing to attach yourself to, right?
Yeah, because I know in season 6, like, they kind of tried to do the same thing in CTU. Like, they tried to develop this sort of, like, romantic relationship between Milo and Nadia. And then they had, you know, the Chloe and Morris stuff, and then the fact that Chloe briefly dated Milo. And then they had, you know, that, like, the Mike Doyle character come in, and then he's got some tension with Nadia, and then there's, you know, that triangle, and I just thought it really bogged things down, and I know that they were trying to find threads that we could follow outside of Jack, because it's like, you know, then it's like, oh, well, it's the Jack Bauer show, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you don't want it shoved down your throat, and I think what they did tonight in the episode, like, with the FBI storyline was give us just enough to, like, make us curious about wanting to know more, but not in a way that's, like, totally shoving it down our throats and making it really soap opera-y, right?
Yeah. And I'm starting to become a bit annoying, I think, because every single debrief I've mentioned Janice.
But she was so...
Janine Garofalo's job.
It's all Garofalo, baby.
Oh my
it's
God.
all Garofalo. Like,
because who else could deliver an O?
Yeah.
The way she did.
Like that, yeah, the scene between her and Larry where what was it that he said to her?
He said, something about Renee and the ventilators, or she's been being questioned. What was it?
Oh, I don't even remember. But anyway, Janice's response was priceless. She goes,
"Oh, that was great. Oh my gosh.
No Bill and Chloe tonight, though.
No, that's right. No Bill and Chloe.
No Bill and Chloe tonight.
Which is okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. Like, you know, they don't, I mean, if it's not organic, it's okay to not have the characters in an episode here and there, you know?
Which is why I was really happy that the White House stuff was downplayed so much.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that earlier, actually. That there were thankfully few scenes with the president. Not to say that I don't like the president or think
there's a lot of potential there.
Think she's a good character, but right now she doesn't really know what's going on with the whole stuff with her husband and her son.
And we don't need another character like the audience just reacting to stuff happening. We can only hear, oh my god, what? So many times.
So that storyline can't really progress, I think, until she becomes aware that that her administration has been compromised.
And then she starts deploying strategies, and she starts
exactly. And so then everything starts to tie in a little bit better, and she'll have more screen time with a bit more relevance.
I thought it was hilarious actually at the very beginning of the episode where she said, "I don't need a rundown of the."
Oh yeah, the reasons why we
or the consequences.
The consequences, yeah.
And I was like, thank you.
You just said what I was thinking. Yeah.
We don't need another explanation. We got it. We've been here for a few hours.
Yeah, no, already. I think they clued into that.
Yeah, so. That was good because otherwise it would have just been a whole bunch of reiteration.
So yeah, the Jack Tony scenes weren't as much of a focal point in this episode as they were in the last two. I mean, obviously because the last two episodes were all about that.
No, but it certainly
their reunion and everything. But they had their kind of big thing in the beginning and that all, and then, you know, the scene in the middle with the Renee, you know, whatever. Then...
Well, this one it gave me warm fuzzies just watching their connection, watching their being on the same page, their vibe together.
That scene was great where basically, like, you know, Emerson's boss or associate or whoever, you know, says, well, you gotta kill her, and then, you know, it was actually before that, sorry, when he was about to kill her, and then Jack and Tony are both, like they're finishing each other's sentences,
they're
trying to convince Emerson not to kill her, right?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious because all the thugs know what's going on. They can all see that these two are playing Emerson, right?
But the thing is that Emerson feels like a bond with them in a way because he like, I definitely got that impression from the conversation that he had with Jack in episode 4 where, you know, he's saying, well, people who've walked up to the edge or who've never walked up to the edge and looked down don't understand type thing. And so I think he sort of sees people like Jack and Tony and himself as like existing on this higher plane of, like, you know, having had some kind of profound experience, right?
I think he transfers a bit of his own experience onto people that he hopes he can trust. And Jack made a dramatic enough expression of that he's willing to transfer once more his own understandings and experiences and passions onto him. Whereas these thugs are really expendable. He doesn't respect them. They're just tools, right? So,
yeah. But I don't think Emerson completely, obviously 100% trusts Bauer because he would be an idiot too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can see him testing Jack every kind of step of the way, and you know, I think Jack got enough from what Tony said and what he observed about Emerson, like in the short time that they've kind of been there, that you know, he isn't someone to underestimate, and that, you know, he is someone who can be very manipulative and who, you know, you never quite know where they're coming from and, you know, could do anything, right?
Yeah. I suddenly had a flash in my head. I had to mention how great it was when Renee got shot. She did a really great body spin and flap on the ground. That looked really dead.
Yeah. She was convincing.
It was well.
But I mean, I think the bullet actually did graze her neck. Like, Jack got it that close that it just grazed her neck, and then the impact from that kind of sent her over, and then she just embellished.
Yeah,
right?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. So now she and Tony are going to have matching scars. Cool, hey?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of see a little bit of a trio forming, a little bit of a triangle.
Well, I mean, I think obviously Renee knows something is up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Jack didn't outrightly kill her, and Tony's going along with it, right? Like when she saw that Tony saw that she was moving, and he didn't yell or do anything, or
exactly,
you know, that then she's like, wait a minute, everything's not exactly like I thought it was.
Exactly.
But that shot with the camera where it's like from her point of view, where it's looking up through that plastic at Jack, I thought that was really well shot.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just want to give a little shout out to the other incredible, amazing Sean of 24, and that would be Sean Callery. Sean Callery, tonight you brought back one of my favorite musical themes from 24, which is basically in the scene where you know, Jack is setting up the gas to put it in the ventilation system into the panic room, and it's the same theme that you used quite a bit in the stuff with you know, in the beginning of season 2 with like,
right,
and then also quite a bit in season 1 as well. Like
we noticed your work
in the particular episode that I'm thinking of from season 1 where that theme either originated or was featured quite prominently early on was season 1 episode 9, where Jack's on the run with that waitress and he's hiding he's hiding in a construction site. And
that's right.
But anyway, just wanted to say thanks, Sean, and I wanted to tell you, if you're listening, that I would be really excited if you could bring back the theme that you called Jack in the Limo on your on the first 24 official soundtrack, but I like to refer to as Kofel music.
Kofel music.
So if you could bring back Kofel music, I would be eternally grateful.
Massive shouts out from our site for sure.
Yeah, we love you. We love you, Sean Callery. And I just wanted to tell everyone too that I actually hooked up my TV in my bedroom to this not even expensive like set of computer speakers with a sub, right? It was maybe like, I think I paid $35 for it or something. And anyway, I hooked it up to my TV, and it's not the same without the sub.
No.
Yeah.
No, because I watched mine on my computer again to do a summary, and it really wasn't the same. You really need some full... Callery writes very broad music.
Broad and visceral. Yeah.
And deep multi-layered.
It's like you want to feel that in your body while you're watching it. So
yeah.
We love you, Sean.
Yeah, we do.
What else? Anything else to say about Jack Tony tonight? I mean, a lot of the Jack Tony stuff tonight, like the communication between the two of them was nonverbal. So it's like there's not this like crazy, unbelievable Jack Tony dialogue to discuss like there was in the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, and dialogue isn't even all of it though. I really, really enjoyed watching that total agreement, that being totally within the rhythm of one another.
It's like Jack Tony, Tony Jack, Jack Tony.
Yeah. Now it kind of scares me a little bit because they're in a comfort zone right now together, and
I'm worried that, like, if Tony gets too comfortable, he's gonna slip, you know?
He may slip. The preview, I don't know if you guys... I'm not going to talk about that.
No, the new rules, the new spoilers policy, basically, I'm just saying now that anything Fox releases to the public domain is fair game.
Yeah.
So
the bit...
So we're about to talk about previews, so if you don't want to hear about previews, you might want to skip
past
ahead.
this, like, maybe 5 seconds, because it's not going to be long, but... yeah, that little bit where Emerson is saying what the hell's going on.
And Tony looks very conflicted because Emerson's got Jack held hostage with a gun to his head, and Tony's got his gun and he doesn't know which one to shoot.
Right. So we've got this classic sort of situation happening. Jack and Tony currently in a place of comfort together. That has to be shaken up.
It will be.
And it will be even next week it will be. And I really don't want it to be a permanent shakeup. I hope that nothing diverges them too much, but...
yeah, for the record, I definitely believe that the season cannot end without the Brotherhood intact.
It can't.
You know...
The whole reason... The purpose of this season is
the reason for the season is Tony Almeida. And by extension, his relationship with Jack Bauer. I think both characters this season really needed this, you know.
And it's not even just Tony. Tony without the context wouldn't be the Tony that we love.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah.
So it's
I mean, at the end of the day, while Tony is a protagonist, he's not the protagonist. And, and so, I mean, it is, you know, ultimately Jack Bauer's world, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I recognize that as much as I worship Tony.
Yeah, well, I mean... You've got that central character that you need to follow, right? But it doesn't make Tony any less. The fact that he is needed for another character. He is the only way that dynamic can exist and those stakes can exist, right? He's no less in the little totem there.
Well, he's what was missing from season 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, even, like, in season 4, I don't think the show was as good as it had been previously, but at the same time, you know, the Tony scenes definitely lifted it up, and I think one of the problems with it was that there just wasn't enough of them. Like, as soon as Michelle came back on the scene, it was basically like, well, all of Tony's screen time is related to that, and every once in a while he'll have a quick chat with Jack about the mission, right? But this season, it's all about exploring the Jack-Tony dynamic. I mean,
which is great, because, I mean, way back when there was a Palmer-Jack dynamic, you had stuff that was going back prior to the season. You had some really ugly darkness that the two of them shared and knew about, which added a lot of grit and honor and that bond that now Jack and Tony share. Now they have history and a past, and it's almost like we can see those missions that Palmer and Jack were on way back kind of reflected this way.
Yeah.
You know, we can understand that bond a little bit more intimately now and watch it play out this way.
Well, I think every season has, except for the 6th, has, well, I don't know, maybe the 5th too, like, but definitely, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4 was about kind of exploring, like, a central relationship of Jack's, right? And then, you know, I think in season 1, like, ultimately that was his relationship with Terry, right? You know, in 2 it was Kim, in 3 it was Nina, and then in 4 it was Audrey, right? And I think now it's the time to explore Tony. Like, I mean, they obviously have touched on it, of course, all along, right? Because otherwise, if they hadn't, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But, I mean, it's like a huge focus. Like, it's right in your face. Like, this is what this season is about. It's about Jack and Tony. It's about the brotherhood, you know? It's...
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Yeah, well, that pretty much sums it up. I don't know. I'm pretty.
I think we're good to stop now. I mean, we did a good one tonight.
I think so. It feels good.
All right, thanks very much, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
I'll be with you all.
Good night.